Caregivers with author, speaker, caregiver advocate, and talk show host Linda Burhans, the gal who cares for caregivers.
All the caregivers around the world today, it's time to lift you up. It's time to celebrate. Good afternoon and welcome to Connecting Caregivers with me, Linda Burhans, the gal who cares for the caregivers with love, laughter, and lessons learned. And we have Mr. Ed on the board. Say, how you doing, Ed?
Oh, the fun is over.
I know. The heat is here. The heat is on.
Yeah, I remember those days.
Those 2 days?
Yeah. 72 in the day. Yeah.
But here
the
we are.
hammock weather's gone.
Yeah.
See you in November.
See you in November. So, unfortunately, my best friend, my co-host, my sidekick, and not sidekick, Lynn Thornley's not with us today. She had a little oral surgery, and so she just needs to rest. So, send your healing energies to Lynn's way. And sitting next to me, I have my friend Vanessa Westmoreland from First Light Home Care. How are you?
Doing wonderful, lovely, and blessed.
So, yeah, you are. And we're going to talk the second half of the show. First thing I want to do is give a shout out to our newest listeners. We have Melanie in Clearwater, we have Carol in Largo, and we have Sherry in Dunedin. And as Lynn would say, welcome, ladies. There's always plenty of room around the Connecting Caregivers table for new listeners, whether you listen to us live on AM, FM, or on YouTube or Facebook or my website or wherever they'll take us. We will be there. But we have a guest calling in right now. Milande David, are you with us?
I am.
How are you today, my friend?
I'm doing great.
I just love saying your name, Milande. It's like beautiful, just like you are. It's just so cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So we met a couple of months ago through Norman Harris, actually. And you're a healthcare entrepreneur, CEO, and single mother of 4. God bless you. Passionate about supporting seniors. So you tell me a little bit more about yourself and what led you to get to here.
I own 2 healthcare companies, and both are directly in the senior care industry. And I think similar for the reason why I am a single mom of 4 and loving it, because most people around me often find that to be incredibly ridiculous, is because I have a passion for people, for life, and just for stewarding those around me. And so it was an easy transition to put all of that passion into the senior care industry. And that's how I ended up in the senior care industry.
So interesting. How old are your children now? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Oh, now I can. There was a blip for a minute. How old are your children now?
I have a 19 and a 17-year-old and a gap with a 7 and a 5-year-old.
God bless you. God bless you. So let's talk a little bit about caregivers, because I'm sure you're surrounded by them every day. And not just professional caregivers and family caregivers. How can caregivers continue showing up for others without losing themselves in the process?
I think one of the things that caregivers find it hard to find is carving out time for themselves. And I love the fact that the healthcare industry provides respite. And so this is respite time. And that's where I don't know if all insurance companies do it, but this is where some insurance companies will pay for you to find a community where you can leave mom, dad, uncle, or aunt for a period of time. So that way you can find some time for yourself. Just finding ways to make meaningful time, carve out meaningful time for yourself is the best way I would recommend, so that caregivers don't lose themselves.
Well, I took care of my mom. I didn't find out what respite care was till I was in my bereavement group.
Oh.
It was not too good.
Okay.
And like I remember one time I just wanted to go to a wedding. I just wanted to go to a wedding out of state, and I couldn't go because I didn't know. because you don't know what
Yeah.
you don't know.
No, and I'm so glad you asked that question because I wanted to immediately throw that out there because I come across, similar to your past, a lot of caregivers who have no idea the resources that are available so that they don't lose themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't have
Yeah.
it because they get stuck in that little bubble.
Yes.
You know, that's
Yes.
why I love like we just had the 10th Connecting Caregivers Conference. The people come to the conference are the people that want education, are the people that are looking to be better caregivers, that are people that are
Yeah.
looking to be better for themselves and the people they love.
Right. Right.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
And sometimes it's just tips and tricks you have to learn too.
Yes. So when I first started my company, I used to be the only one on the phone.
Okay.
So I came, and now I have a full team, right?
Right.
But the amount of caregiver burnout that was shared with me, people who were calling, because one of my companies actually surplused with COVID. When COVID happened, my medical group that does house calls, all of a sudden, this archaic, old-fashioned way of doing healthcare became quite popular. We were the talk of the town. I had daughters and sisters from California, from New York, calling and begging. They think their mom had a fall at home, and we heard that you do house calls. No one's going out because of the shutdown. Can you please, please, please go out and see our parents? During that period, the amount of caregivers I spoke to that just wanted to check on their parents, and the amount of caregivers that I spoke to that were overwhelmed because they were stuck in a home with someone that they didn't know how to find time for themselves.
Well, and no one knew how long we were going to be stuck in our homes. No one knew how long that was going to last, how bad it was going to be. Everybody had different opinions, but everybody had fear.
Yeah.
Everybody had some sort of fear.
Yeah.
I live in a beautiful complex and on a lake and everything, and I kind of didn't want to leave my yard because it was a scary world going out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting how we made, and then you know what? And in the end, there was gifts of COVID.
There yes, there was.
Yeah, I mean, your company grew. I started my conferences. A lot of things happened. People started having more conversations. Long distance caregivers started paying more attention.
Yep.
And I think that there was a good part with that.
It was. The funny part is I quietly always hesitate to share the success that came out of COVID for us.
Yeah.
So that's why I was hesitant, only because I heard the amount of hurt and pain people were experiencing. But you're absolutely right. We became, that is our biggest success story. And that was people found value in house calls again.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's so important. So, my daughter and my granddaughter own a residential home cleaning service, and they clean for a lot of seniors that their loved ones live, their kids live out of town, and their kids call them and say, how was mom when you went to clean the house this week? Or, do you notice there's some good food in the refrigerator? And just for them to have that call once a week, they feel happy that they can actually, because when you call mom's not telling you the truth.
Nope.
She's not going to tell you she fell down and her leg is black and blue, or dad didn't poo for 4 days.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to tell them everything. Everything is absolutely fine because I don't want to lose my independence.
Right. Oh, that is another one. Oh my goodness. You're touching on a lot of things. Our lead physician, Dr. Floyd, the one thing that he valued about house calls that he said over and over again is, it's one thing when they come into the office and they can tell you that, everything is going great.
Right.
And, they have all these systems in place to prevent falls inside the home. And he said the wealth of knowledge that he gained from being able to actually be there, witness, and implement
Yeah.
the resources and the tools that he knows that this person needs is 10 times more
Effective
than seeing the patient in an office and just relying on the information they're sharing with you.
Yeah, I think that's really important. I always tell caregivers, I say, if you come to Florida to visit mom, go talk to her neighbors. Her neighbors are going to tell you everything. And so one time a caregiver, she said, I'm going to do that, Linda. And she came down to visit and she went over to the neighbor and the neighbor said, oh my goodness, we were so worried when the ambulance came and took your mother to the hospital 2 weeks ago. And her mother never told her.
Oh.
So, we need those extra eyes sometimes to help. But so when you go in though, to help these people, in the beginning, it was probably really uncomfortable for them with COVID and everything. But then to know that someone cared enough during that time to come in had to make a huge difference.
Mm-hmm. It did. It made so much of a difference that I think we were featured on the news at least 15 times during that season. We were getting phone calls left and right so that we could be featured about the work that we were doing. Because the other caveat was there were also a lot of healthcare employees that also completely disappeared because they did not want to be infected.
Right.
They didn't want to be anywhere near
Everyone was
COVID.
afraid. Yep.
Everyone was afraid. So it wasn't even just us going into the home. It was also the fact that this group really is out here.
Yeah.
These guys are really out here. I remember driving because I was an emergency employee. So I had to drop my son off at daycare. And I just remember driving on the roads and literally no one.
Yeah.
Empty. So not even employees wanted to be on the road or wanted to be anywhere around it. We were getting phone calls with people who just lost their primary care because they are refusing to care for someone at home and so on and so forth. But yeah, it was definitely a period where people found our services to be valuable. It brought a lot of media for us. It helped our company to grow. It also gave people some insight into we don't just say that we care.
Right.
You're literally witnessing that we're risking our lives to demonstrate that we do.
Yeah, that's a big deal. So what are some of the gaps you see today now, though?
The gaps in care?
Yeah.
I want to say the biggest gaps I saw, and that's what caused me to launch Alaya Core a few short years later, is we were seeing that there's a lot of coordinated care involved. And based on the volume of phone calls I was receiving from caregivers who are just so grateful that, oh, you can schedule transportation. Oh, you call the hospital up every day to get an update on my mom's well-being because she's there. Oh, you will send over this paperwork over to this specialist for us. I want to say that was the biggest gap. I look at senior care similar to pediatrics, and I'm living it because I have 4 kids that I have to do pediatrics with.
You get it, Vanessa.
The level, just like how they have parents there that's doing all of the coordinated care. We got to go to this specialist. They need this shot, and now they need to visit with this dentist. You got to follow up with this because they're seeing that they're not hitting this milestone correctly. So you need to run over to St. Pete, pediatrics. It is the same level of coordinated care that's required in the senior care industry. And there's so much involved. There's so many chefs in the kitchen. And this is the part that causes, it's not the main part, but this is one of the things that lead to caregiver burnout. It's one of the things that the amount of calls that I got was, can you help us find a community to live in?
Right.
I'm overwhelmed with my mom living at home. I need to place her somewhere and I don't even know where to start.
Right.
That's not what we do. We would politely refer them to someone that can help them.
But I'll
So
tell
one
you,
of the things,
I'm so proud of the Tampa Bay community here and the community that you have in Manatee, because you have professionals that want to work together. You have
Mhm,
professionals that want to make a difference, and we're going to find answers for you. So anyone that's
mhm.
listening to the show, if you have a question, you can call in at 727-441-3000, or you can email me at lindaburhans@AOL. We will find an answer for you, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. And because,
we love
I go
that.
to speak in other states, it's not the same. They go, "Oh, don't talk to that person, or don't talk to this person." I'm like, what are you talking about? There's plenty of juice in the orange for all of us.
Yes, we play in the sandbox nicely. We know how to play in the sandbox.
Yeah. Yeah.
Agreed.
So I want to talk about
Go
some
ahead.
of your programs, CCM and RPM and BHI. Let's talk about that.
Perfect. That's a good transition. So because I saw a lot of these gaps that were really necessary in senior care, we started doing a lot of these things within my first medical group, only for me to find out after 2-3 years of doing it, Medicare pays for this.
Oh, wow.
So what am I talking about? With our medical group, we were taking on as much as we could for our caregivers, for their POAs. They would call us and they would need help with transportation. They would need help with meds. They would need help with getting this specialist. I'd have my team get on Google. We're going to find a specialist for this person because they're saying they cannot find someone to do this specific treatment for their dad. And then fast forward, I find out years later, Medicare pays for chronic care management because they find value so much in chronic care management that it will save them money in the long run by preventing rehospitalization. So chronic care management is where Medicare pays for support to provide folks with chronic conditions 24/7 care. So 24/7 coordinated care is all of the coordination that is involved with caring for the health of a senior, scheduling appointments, scheduling transportation, making sure that, the refills on the medications are happening. So my team is reaching out to the hospitals daily to get paperwork before that patient discharges, and we're getting it to their primary care provider. If there's a specialist that's involved and for some reason the caregiver has not been able to get anyone on the phone, my team coordinates that.
Here we come. Watch out.
Yeah. And we just lift off as much burden on our families and the caregivers and POAs involved. So that way they are not as burnt out on the paperwork. The paperwork part tends to be
enormous.
Quite consuming. Yeah.
And I just want to be the daughter. I just want to be the daughter. I don't want to be the ringmaster.
Yeah.
And so if I can get help with that and I can reach out, and that's one thing, caregivers, reach out and accept help when somebody wants to help you.
Yeah.
I think that's so important. And then
Absolutely.
talk about RPM.
RPM is another Medicare paid program where Medicare found it valuable that if patients, their vitals were being monitored on a regular basis remotely, and then that data was immediately transmitted to their primary care provider or to a team that was monitoring it actively, it put the care team in a position to proactively identify risks and immediately address a care plan to make adjustments so that patient doesn't end up in the hospital because we missed the high blood pressure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or we missed the glucose check. So that's RPM. So we do provide RPM to the communities we support. And so we have a clinician that goes into our communities and they collect vitals every day. We try not to be invasive. We try to make it quick because some of them can tend to get annoyed that we're there every day. So we try to connect and we try to collect the vitals that is more specific to them because we have a plethora of tools. We can monitor glucose, weight, temperature,
Yeah.
Blood pressure, you name it. If someone's losing weight and the primary care just wants us to monitor their weight for the next 2 weeks, we'll do that. If someone was just in the hospital for upper respiratory issues and a fever, and now they just want for the next 7 days, monitor temperature, make sure she's stabilized, we'll do that.
That's fun.
We're
That's
diverse.
fabulous.
Yeah. And we're flexible.
And like with everything, early detection with whatever's going on is the best deal. Because then you can address it as soon as possible.
And that's the direction that Medicare is going.
Thank you, God.
That is the absolute direction that they're going.
It's about time. And then last but not least, BHI.
BHI, our most popular program in our communities. You guys are more than welcome to look at our website. I think we have some videos on there. But this is a program where we have a behavioral health professional that goes in and they collaborate with psych, if psych is involved.
Okay.
So Medicare saw that it was valuable that even if psych is involved, that there should also be behavioral health involved, because part of the requirement for that program is the behavioral health specialist is the connection between the primary care and psych. Because sometimes primary care does not communicate with psych, right?
Yeah.
And there's medications sometimes that contradict each other.
Right.
So Medicare requires that this behavioral health specialist is constantly looking at both medication lists, and they're communicating back and forth between both two. And if there is no medication list, let's say psych isn't involved, Medicare sees this as an opportunity for us to proactively work with an aging population, whether that is going in and playing Uno, whether that is going in and doing puzzles or hosting a gardening event.
Exactly.
They just find it valuable that if someone is in there regularly helping to stimulate the aging population mentally and emotionally, it's been more than proven that this can potentially reduce the oncoming of cognitive decline. And our communities see us, my girls, they come in with a smile on their face and a rolling cart with all these fun games. They just hosted Mother's Day tea at all of our communities over the past week.
Oh, nice.
And these families and our residents, they come out and they're just excited to be
joyful.
Seen. Yeah, and that is our number one program at our communities. I want to say they've even tried to employ some of my folks.
Yeah. Thanks so much for being with us today. Where can our listeners find you?
They can visit our website at www.eliacore.com. That's ELIACORE.com. And they can most certainly reach out to our office, which is info, short for information, at eliacore.com.
And I'll put all the information in the show. Thank you so much for being with me, my friend. We'll talk soon.
Absolutely. It was my pleasure.
Have a delicious day.
Bye-bye.
Now it's time to hear from our wonderful partners, because you know the deal. If you don't hear from them, you don't hear from me. So don't go away. We'll be right back on Connecting Caregivers Radio.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Arden Courts is not just a place to live. It's a place to call home. Residential living combined with quality caregiving. This is the philosophy behind Arden Courts. Communities created exclusively for individuals with Alzheimer's disease and related dementia who would benefit from a safe and structured environment. For additional information about any of the unique services Arden Courts provides, call 888-478-2410 to locate a community nearest you. Inquire about our educational seminars, resource library, or support groups, or simply feel free to ask questions you may have about Alzheimer's and related dementias. At Arden Courts, we know, we understand, and we can help because memory care is all we do. Remember, call 888-478-2410 for additional information about any of the unique services Arden Courts provides.
Are you getting older, or are you taking care of somebody who is? You know, getting older creates new problems you probably never imagined. One of the big ones is, how do you pay for care? Care in your home, care in an assisted living facility, or care in a nursing home. Did you know that Nursing home care in our community can cost up to $12,000 per month. For the last 33 years, our office has helped families access benefits, including Medicaid, VA, and PACE, to help pay for the cost of long-term care. Regardless of what your assets are or what your income is, you can qualify for these benefits. Proper planning and guidance are absolutely necessary to avoid being wiped out. Let us help. If you are in care or heading in that direction, we can help solve that problem. Take action now to obtain benefits to pay for the cost of care. Here are the 4 things that you need to do. 1, get a new power of attorney. Your old one probably isn't good enough. Get a healthcare surrogate and a living will. 3, get an estate plan that will not disqualify you from benefits. And 4, get a plan to qualify for Medicaid, PACE, or VA benefits to pay for the long-term care costs. Call us today for a free consultation, 727-539-0181, or go to flmedicaid.com and download our free book on Medicaid and planning for long-term care. I'm Sean Scott. I'm here to help.
Guaranteed to make you laugh through your tears, Linda Burhan's book, Good Night and God Bless, is filled with humor and heartfelt inspiration to aid anyone facing the challenge of caring for a loved one at the end of life. Her story offers hope for human strength and understanding of weaknesses during a difficult time. Life doesn't normally prepare us to become a loved one's caregiver. When it happens, it's usually sudden. A diagnosis of an illness, age-related frailty, dementia, and life suddenly is anything but normal. And because we don't even know what we don't know, where do we turn to for help or guidance? In Connecting Caregivers, Answers to the Questions You Didn't Know You Needed to Ask, Linda offers information, education, and inspiration from her own experience and from experts whose advice, practical tools, and personal stories will empower and guide you. Make sure to add these inspiring books to your collection today. Available on Amazon.com.
Hi from Angels on Call Cleaning, where we believe a clean home means so much more than just a tidy space. It means comfort, safety, peace of mind, and dignity, especially for our seniors. We proudly work with seniors, caregivers, and families throughout our community to help make everyday life a little easier. Whether it's routine housekeeping, maintaining a safe and sanitary environment, or preparing a home for a loved one returning home from rehab or needing extra support, our team is here to help. We are licensed, insured, and staffed with in-house W-2 employees, never outside contractors, so families know exactly who's coming into their home. We bring our own supplies, our own vehicles, and most importantly, accountability and trust. At Angels on Call Cleaning, we know caregiving takes a village. And sometimes the greatest gift you can give someone is a clean, comfortable place to call home. If you know a senior caregiver or family who could use a helping hand, we'd love to be part of that support system. AngelsOnCallCleaning.com, or you can call us at 727-313-7892.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Yeah, I had Angels on Call Cleaning at my house this week. I was so happy. All my ceiling fans are clean, my baseboards, all the stuff you don't touch. And especially me, I'm not getting on a ladder anymore to clean a ceiling fan.
No.
I'm not taking any chances. So, Vanessa, I'm so glad that you're here with us today. You're from First Light Home Care, located in Clearwater, Florida.
Yes.
And we've known each other probably almost a year now, I'm thinking. Time really does fly, doesn't it?
It does.
So, what does being the light mean with you and with First Light?
Being the light. Well, not everyone has the chance every day to make someone else's day better. And the fact that I've been gifted, I say it's a spiritual gift to be able to talk to anybody, make them smile, and just have that empathy. I feel like God's placed me exactly where I need to be in Pinellas County, and to be able to share that happiness and joy with others, and to be in the healthcare senior industry. There's nobody better I could love on than the seniors.
But what led you to the senior industry?
Yeah, the senior industry, it was during COVID when changes were happening, and kind of like what we were talking about with the last guest.
Yeah.
And when I couldn't publish anymore a magazine, it was a travel magazine nationwide, I decided to go digital. And I knew I had some great brand directing, marketing experience from my journalism experience and background, and then working.
And you're a very social person. So,
yes. I know how to connect.
Yeah.
I
And that's so important.
well, one of my friends says I'm the Lego.
That's a compliment.
I know. I said I like that. So thank you, Allie.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so yeah, the Lego connector, and I like you said when you go to different states, people don't like to work together. I even work with my competitors and have lunches. There's always a market differentiator between the two companies.
Yeah.
And that what I've really focused on, I know we're going to talk about probably a little bit more, but with dementia and then also with veterans,
Yeah.
that sets us apart because there's a lot of competition for home care because there's a lot of need here, especially in Florida.
So we can skip over some of the stuff. We can go back and forth, but
Yeah.
'cause let's talk about the veterans a little bit because this is Military Awareness Month also.
And today is U.S. Armed Forces Day.
Oh, God bless America.
Yes.
God bless all of our veterans. And we have a lot of veterans here in our Tampa Bay area here.
We do. It's a very high concentration, especially with having James Haley over on the Hillsborough side and Bay Pines over on the Pinellas. Actually, First Light Home Care, about 60% of our Pinellas clients are VA. And so how I have found a way to connect with them, because I didn't have any military background. And besides my grandfathers, no one had served. My husband works with military operations, but I kind of felt out of place. So I was lucky enough to get to partner with, and it's about community partnerships. In Path Hospice, their veteran liaison program came on with me in First Light, and we have started community veteran socials in about 7 different rehab, assisted living, independent living communities to help break isolation and then give that education and advocacy.
Well, lots of times it's hard for a vet to ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm a vet and I'm supposed to be strong. I'm supposed to be that one. But many times too, they don't even know what's available to them.
No. And I just had one of my monthly coffee socials today over at the Palms of Largo. And we brought in a guest speaker. We tried to bring in a different veteran, new resources. And a lot of their questions is about the compartmentalized managed care now and how their right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing.
Yeah.
The primaries don't talk to the specialty doctors. And so having advocates, somebody like me that does non-medical home care, we can do that respite, the companionship, and then explaining what steps are needed next when they're trying to choose where to live or how they're going to stay home.
Yeah.
And if they don't have
nobody
anyone.
says, I want to move.
No.
Everybody wants to stay home.
Yes.
Maybe there's a 5% population that says, but I would think 95% of people, you would ask them, what do you want to do? They say they want to stay home.
Yes, and I get to do a lot of bedsides, and so do our RNs on staff that write the care plans. And we see that there's a lot of stubbornness. There's a lot of not being able to disassociate from the memories of home and just what it was before. And so we're able to let them age in place safely wherever they call home.
Yeah.
By bringing in the extra support for ambulation, transportation, bathing, feeding, dressing, all the chores, basically.
Yeah.
That we don't make it a chore. It's really our passion to love on them and be there for them.
And what a difference that can make if somebody just gets a little bit of help sometimes.
Right.
It can make a world of difference.
Yeah, even personal touch, doing just rubbing lotion on somebody, painting their nails. Hey, let's go for a walk outside and get some
of them are never
live,
touched.
fresh air. Exactly.
They're never touched.
Never. Sometimes they don't get out of bed out of the rehabs.
Yeah.
They might be 95 years old with a broken hip and they can't move. So we go in there and talk to them or get their family on FaceTime. That lifts their spirits, especially if they're in the hospital or rehab.
Yeah. And it's so nice that we have those tools today that we can do those kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about your dementia support services and your programs with that.
Yeah. So with the dementia, there is a guide program through CMS. It's a government-funded pilot this is the second year of 7, and the government's putting a lot of money and resources because we know it's an epidemic,
Yeah.
dementia,
It's an aging population.
and the numbers are just going to continue to increase
Right.
Each year and decade. So the guide program, you have to be qualified home care agency, and First Light is one that's affiliated to give a comprehensive support network.
Okay.
Because you talk about, connecting caregivers, we got to give that circle of care, almost like a hug, right? Well, there's respite hours that come with it, which are wonderful because then you can go out of town for that wedding and feel like mom's not going to fall and you'll be blaming yourself when you come back.
Right.
And so what's nice is that you get the 72 hours free if they are Medicare dementia diagnosis, straight Medicare. But what's even better is the support system. It's called Touch Points, and they'll have a navigator assigned to that loved one that every month when, dad's dementia is starting to get worse, he's asking the same questions. She doesn't want to be rude and snap at him. What does she say? She now has somebody she trusts every month
Oh,
to
that's
talk
fabulous.
to. And yeah, they'll call and they have to agree that they'll do that. But it really gets them to start to understand the disease better. So then they can support their loved one better too.
Yeah, because you have no education on it.
No.
All of a sudden, you took your husband to the doctor one day and you found out he had dementia. And you didn't even know it wasn't that dementia is just a title of a whole bunch of different things. You didn't know if it was Alzheimer's or whatever. It's
right. And learning that there's so many different kinds of dementia and having educational speakers and topics. I like to do educational series and clinical and bring those that work with dementia, Alzheimer, anything to the communities I support, and then have their caregivers come in as well and loved ones. So not only can they get better care at home, but when they come visit the loved ones, it can be a better visit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's the worst, when you don't know what to say and they can't remember you anymore. But using certain tools.
There are things you can do.
Yes.
There's things you can learn. I always say if somebody's coming over for the holidays to visit grandma and they haven't seen her for a while and she's not talking too much and I don't know what to talk to her about, just create a memory box. If grandma was born in the Bronx, print out some pictures of the Bronx. If she was a Girl Scout leader, print out some. Then they go, I didn't know you were a Girl Scout leader, because she can remember that stuff, hopefully.
Yes.
And have that conversation. Because no matter what condition we're in, we're all social. We're social beings. And we want to have conversations. And we don't want to be left alone. And I think knowing that you have a support system and that people are going to educate you is a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we are, the most connected we ever have been, but the most isolated at the same time. And we weren't created to live alone. We were created to be communal, like you said. And it's okay to ask for help. And I think that
it's not a weakness, it's a strength.
It is. And to echo what the other
Milande,
thank you. She had said, and being a caregiver of 3 young kids myself, a single mother, you have to take care of yourself, because then they get the short end of the stick.
And what are you teaching them?
Oh, yeah, exactly. If you're going to run yourself ragged,
right,
then how are they going to be as an adult,
right,
or in high school or college? So for me, it's starting the day with gratitude,
yep,
gratefulness journal or gratitude journal, whatever you want to do. And I try to do a top 10, and every day do a new top 10, which is hard. You can't repeat your kids every day.
Right. But it makes a difference.
It rewires your mind and thinking. And even our pastor has talked about this, of how you can really, when you focus on positive, even if there's negative going around, there's still going to be joy coming to you.
Yeah.
And that's the little pieces of glimmer that you've got to find through your day.
I don't know how people without faith do caregiving. It's tough.
Right. And that's why I say I think I've been positioned in it, because you are dealing a lot of times with end of life decisions, and to be able to
and very delicate decisions. You know, all of a
Mhm.
sudden you're dealing with, let's say, somebody who needs help for her mom, but they don't get along,
Oh,
or they've never got along.
there's a
You've
lot of
seen that,
days of our
right?
lives. You remember that soap opera
Yeah.
back in the day, in the
Yeah.
80s, 90s?
Yeah.
Yes. And so having to also be a chameleon, to be able to work with many different personalities, out of town family members that now are back in town for the first time in years and all have a different idea, and maybe there's not a will signed,
Right.
then that's a whole other conversation.
Right.
Um, so yeah, making sure that
And I just want you to know, sometimes maybe you're not the one to take care of mom. Maybe you're not able to take care of mom. Maybe you're not emotionally or whatever happened with you and mom or whatever, and that's okay. But that doesn't mean, I would say try to forgive, and I can't tell you what you should do, but if not, then you can find someone that can take care of mom.
exactly, because
There are options.
I will say to someone when they're looking at me and they're saying, I don't want my, I don't know if I can do this. I say, no one's ever given you a handbook, or anyone. You're
Right.
not the first one that's ever said this, but wouldn't it be nicer to be the spouse at night and somebody's making his dinner and you actually get to feel your role as a spouse and not just always cleaning up after him and himself?
Wouldn't it be nice if you got to sleep through the night?
Right. And just think, and we've been having new babies and you get up all night. You can't be as attentive to them and their
Right.
needs. And then that's when an accident could happen.
Exactly.
So yeah, doing that. And it's always hard, I feel like us caregivers, we want to do everything. So you've got to let go.
Well, it's funny. Sometimes someone will come into a new person will come into a support group, and I'm like, welcome, whatever. What brought you here? I yelled at my mother.
Oh, right.
Things you never thought you would do, but they're so frustrated because they don't know what to do next. They don't know what kind of help there is, and they come to a support group and they learn. And they learn from other. And sometimes you're in a support group and somebody just wants to know who's the best neurologist in town because you're talking to people of experience, to people that have used different doctors, that certain ones love them and don't love them. You're not going to find that out anywhere else.
No, not at all. And to be able to identify with someone that's going through the same feelings, shame,
Yeah.
guilt. I yelled at mom. I can't believe that. We've had this amazing relationship my whole life. Whatever
Right.
it is, it gives you that support that you need.
But, there's another thing I want you to think about, though, because I hear a lot, oh, mom can't do this, dad can't do this, they can't do this, can't do that, can't do that. How do you think they feel? How do you think they feel? You might feel sad about it. I think they probably feel so really sad about it. So let's figure out what they can do.
Mm-hmm.
And let's do what they can do. Because there's plenty of stuff you can do. Even if you're confined to a bed, there is stuff you can do.
Absolutely. And that's why when our nurses and myself, we do bedsides, we always ask, what was their past profession? Because then that usually sparks something that they also like to write, or they also like to garden.
They love dogs or whatever. Yeah.
Whatever it is, and just trying to find that
in the
out.
military.
Yeah, because if it means that that's the conversation topics that our caregivers will talk about, or if we will just find new activities. And you mentioned a movement, music. That sparks that memory right away with dementia, and movement and music will definitely help encourage that, and it's a good social thing as well.
And even sometimes, so I have a little dog, Charlie, and every now and then I take him to this Alzheimer's unit, and this one man doesn't talk. He never talks, except when Charlie comes, he says dog.
Oh,
so yeah, something like a little thing like that can change somebody's day and change their life. So get your education. So where can our listeners find you?
Yes. So our website is firstlighthomecare.com. And again, my name's Vanessa Westmoreland. If you have any questions, you can always reach out.
And what's the last thing you want to say to our caregivers?
That you're not alone and you can't do it all yourself. You're going to have to
Takes a village.
Someone or the higher powers that be ask for help. You got to stay faithful, prayerful, and you will get through this.
Yeah, you will. Thanks so much.
You're
Now it's time to hear
welcome.
from our wonderful partners, so don't go away. We'll be right back on Connecting Caregivers Radio.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
When someone you love needs a little extra help at home, comfort and trust matter more than anything. At Southern Comfort Home Care, we believe care should feel like family. Proudly serving Pinellas Park and surrounding communities, our compassionate caregivers provide personalized in-home support so your loved ones can remain safe, independent, and comfortable in the place they know best, home. From companionship and meal preparation to personal care and daily assistance, Southern Comfort Home Care is here to ease the stress for families and bring peace of mind when it matters most. Our caregivers are carefully selected, professionally trained, and dedicated to treating every client with dignity, respect, and kindness, because that's how families should be cared for. If you're looking for dependable, heartfelt home care you can trust, choose Southern Comfort Home Care. Call us today for your free assessment at 727-977-2273 or visit our website at www.southerncomforthc.com. Southern Comfort Home Care, where compassionate care feels like home.
Choosing the right chiropractor is an important choice to make. Located in Seminole, the Alexander Spine Center team is trained on the latest chiropractic treatments and technologies. At Alexander Spine Center, you'll find chiropractic and physical therapy care that is safe, effective, and a natural approach to pain and other health-related issues. Chiropractic unlocks your body's potential and natural healing process to ensure your life is a healthy life. We treat clients from the womb to the tomb. Call 727-397-3000 for a free consultation today, or visit our website at www.alexanderspinecenter.com.
They take good care of me twice a week, so check them out.
Arden Courts is not just a place to live. It's a place to call home. Residential living combined with quality caregiving. This is the philosophy behind Arden Courts. Communities created exclusively for individuals with Alzheimer's disease and related dementia who would benefit from a safe and structured environment. For additional information about any of the unique services Arden Courts provides, call 888-478-2410 to locate a community nearest you. Inquire about our educational seminars, resource library, or support groups, or simply feel free to ask questions you may have about Alzheimer's and related dementias. At Arden Courts, we know, we understand, and we can help because memory care is all we do. Remember, call 888-478-2410 for additional information about any of the unique services Arden Courts provides.
Caregiving is an act of love, but it can be exhausting. Long days, sleepless nights, constant worry about the one you care for and about yourself. That's where Super Patch can help. Super Patch is a simple, drug-free wearable designed to support the body naturally. Caregivers are using it to feel more balanced, more energized, and more focused so they can show up fully for the people that need them most. And for loved ones, well, many report better stability, calmer days, improved sleep, and greater sense of independence. No drugs, no side effects, just a patch working with the body. Because when caregivers feel stronger and supported, everyone benefits. Super Patch, helping caregivers care better and helping loved ones live better. To learn more, go to www.sticktoit.info. That's www.sticktoit.info.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
And I'm excited to say that all the videos from the Connecting Caregivers Conference went out yesterday. So everyone who registered received all the videos of the conference. If there's anyone that didn't register and heard about the conference after and they still want access to the videos, I'll give them to you. Just contact me at lindaburhans.com or lindaburhans@AOL. We have some events coming up. On Thursday, June 4th, I will be at Arden Courts in Palm Harbor from 10:30 to 12:30, finding joy in the journey. So it is going to be a journaling workshop. And if you went to RSCP, it's at 727-771-1600, and lunch will be served. And then on Wednesday, June 10th, I will be at Arden Courts Largo with elder care attorney Sean Scott. And the title is Two Sides of the Coin, the financial and the emotional side of caregiving. You don't want to miss that. Sean always has plenty to say. And once again, lunch will be served, and you can RSVP there to 615-8214. Once again, get in a support group, whether it's mine or somebody else's. There's support groups online. There's all sorts of support today. It will change your life. I appreciate you all. I appreciate everything you do. I know it's not easy, but it can be joyful. I always say your caregiving experience can be the most horrific experience of your life or close to beautiful, depending on how you handle it. So listen to the show, come to the conferences, reach out for help. Remember, God loves you all the time, and have a delicious day.